What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Dominic Rich, and in today's video we will be predicting round of 16 of Euro 2020, and we'll be using the UEFA Predictor app on the website. So you could head on over to the website and you could play the game yourself. So we have 8 ties to predict, and I'm going to do the best to break down each tie and let you know who I think will move on to the quarterfinals. Guys, the reason why I'm wearing this Santa hat is because it feels like Christmas all over again, man. Look at these ties. Like, I feel like I'm under a tree right now opening some presents. You get it? I'm a football fan, of course. It feels like Christmas. So we're going to start from the top here, and we're going to talk about Belgium versus Portugal. So this game will be played in Seville, Spain, and Belgium topped their group convincingly with all 9 points. Portugal, you could say they barely scraped through the group of death, Group F, and Portugal are the defending champions, coming up against Belgium, who are a team that are one of the contenders to win the tournament. And we expect Belgium to do well at Euro 2020, and we expect Portugal to do well. So the fact that they're meeting in the round of 16 is kind of sad, but it's a big matchup. It's probably one of the biggest matchups in the round of 16. But one of these teams has to go, and look, this ain't easy at all. Belgium has been playing some really good football. Have they been tested? Yeah, a little against Denmark, but they overcame that test. Portugal has been tested throughout the group stage, just like they were back in 2016, where they went on to win the whole thing. To be honest, guys, this one is a bit difficult. Portugal with Ronaldo scoring these goals for fun, tying Ali Daei's record for the most international goals. But the other guys in the team are misfiring, especially the defense. The defense looks really I can't even find the words right now. I don't understand how Ruben Diaz, who won the player of the season for Man City and the player of the season for the Premier League, he just can't. I don't know what's going on with him and Pepe. Seriously, they just can't keep the balls out the back of the net. As for Belgium, they look a bit more assured. Roberto Martinez, I don't think he is the best manager, but the team has him looking good. And to make a long story short, guys, I fancy Belgium to go through here. And this is where the defending champions Portugal tournament come to an end. So I'll go for Belgium, and they will move on to the quarterfinals. So if Belgium do defeat Portugal and move on to the quarterfinals, they would play one of Italy or Austria, where that game will be hosted in London. So Italy has been one of the best teams in the tournament so far, topping their group easily, haven't conceded a single goal. While for Austria, they had to fight to come through their group, and it's been the best performance by an Austrian team at any major international tournament, being the first time they have made it to the knockout round. But Franco Foda and his boys got their work cut out for them against Roberto Mancini's Italian team, who looks good in all departments. So this one is a little bit easier to predict, and I'm going to go for Italy to move on. Guys, I won't be giving these score predictions right about now, but I'm going to pick Italy to move on, and they will face Belgium in the last 8. Ooh, that's going to be good. That game will be played in Munich, Germany. So let me know your picks, guys. Play the game with me. Play the game as I play along. So if you want to leave score predictions in the comments, be my guest. But I won't be leaving any score predictions right about now, because these games could either end in 90 minutes, they could go to extra time, or they could go all the way to penalties. And that's a lot to predict. You see what I'm saying? I don't want to mess up in my predictions there, and you guys would be like, oh, I thought you said it's going to go to penalties. It didn't. It finished in 90. So yeah, I'm going to keep it simple. So Belgium to beat Portugal, Italy to beat Austria, and those two teams will meet in the quarters. The next one we have Didier Deschamps' France, who made it to the finals of the last Euro back in 2016, and their current world champions, where they won the World Cup in 2018, coming up against Vladimir Petkovic, Switzerland. Look, for France, I have to say they haven't hit top gear yet, and they have just been trickling through the tournament just like they did at the 2018 World Cup. They were never really at full pelt, maybe until they got to the final. So Switzerland got their work cut out for them here, and I think it would be too much of a task to beat this French team. Even though we saw Hungary test France, I think the Swiss, who are a bit more attacking, bit more, let's say they're not as compact as the Hungarians would be, and France would Swiss cheese them. And I know that was funny, right? Yeah, so I'm gonna go for the French, man. Didier Deschamps and his boys to move on. Way too good for Switzerland. I know Shaqiri is playing well right now, and you never know, but look, France would prevail. Yeah, tournament football, Switzerland do have a chance, but France will prevail. So Croatia versus Spain, a game that will be played in Copenhagen, Denmark. Recently saw Croatia play Spain in the Nations League across 2 legs, where Spain beat Croatia 6-0 at home, and Croatia did beat Spain 3-2 at home. So it's hard to tell where this one's gonna go, because right now Spain looks like they're getting better and Croatia looks like they are also improving as the tournament progresses. But only one team can move on here. I like what I see from Spain, but they're just not clinical in the final third. I think Morata could be an Achilles heel here. They had 2 penalties. They missed both the penalties. And they just came up against a Slovakian team who lost the plot in that game, while, you know, they lost the game 5-0. And we have seen better from Slovakia throughout the tournament. As for Croatia, they convincingly defeated Scotland, and that was their best performance so far at the tournament. So both teams coming off their best games so far. And it is a difficult one to predict, guys, because Spain, they have to be more clinical. Croatia, they have to play as a unit. Luka Modric came good in the last game. They would need him to come good again. They would need Perisic and the more experienced guys in the team to also be on their A game. This one is super difficult to predict. Look, I would love to see Croatia, France. Oh man, again, Spain, France would be big as well. Neighbors coming up against each other. Ah man, jeez, this one is hard. I like Croatia. I did go against Croatia in the last round, so guys, I think we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see Croatia versus France. Sorry, Spain. I think we're gonna see Croatia versus France, just like we did at the 2018 World Cup final, and they will get the better of Spain and move on. I could be wrong, but I just feel that I kind of underestimated Croatia in the last round, and they proved me wrong, and I think they can do it again. So, Spain, bye-bye. You need to be better in front of goal. The next one we have coming up, we have Sweden versus Ukraine, and that game will be played in Glasgow, Scotland. So Sweden versus Ukraine, guys. Oh man, Sweden topped their group. Ukraine came through as one of the best third-place teams, the only team to come through their group on 3 points, and they also had a negative goal difference. I like what I see from Sweden here. The battle of the yellow and the blues. Ooh, I bet you didn't realize that, right? But Sweden under Jan Andersen, they look very good. The team itself is very pragmatic. They play to the level of their opponents. And Ukraine could also be a team that play to the level of their opponents as well, where in recent times we have seen them come up against France and did a really good job. So the fact that Sweden topped their group in a group that had Spain, Slovakia, Poland, and no one really predicted Sweden to do so, it means that they relish being underdogs. They love the tag, and they're looking like potential dark horses of Euro 2020. Ukraine could also be potential dark horses if they manage to bring their A game and defeat the Swedes. So Andriy Shevchenko would need to select his 11 properly, because I think there's been a selection conundrum there. And right now, I think Jan Andersen knows his best 11. with Alexander Isak. Now Kulusevski back in the mix. Emil Forsberg with a few goals under his belt. The confidence is there. Robin Quaison's looking good. And the team as a whole are playing very, very well as a unit, especially in defense. Never mind, Robert Lewandowski scored 2 goals against them. Come on, that's Robert Lewandowski. So, look, I'm going to go for Sweden to get the better of Ukraine here. I don't think Yaremchuk and Yarmolenko would come to the party against the Swedes. And Sweden would move on to the last 8, where they will play one of England or Germany. And if they do, that game will be in Rome, Italy. So here we go, England versus Germany, a game that will be played in London, England. And remember, the only international trophy England has ever won, the 1966 World Cup, came against Germany. So the Germans, you know, them and England have rich history between each other. They also met at the 2010 World Cup, where Germany defeated England as well. And you could go back to World Cup 1990, where Germany defeated England. You could go back to the 1982 World Cup, where they played to a draw. So these teams have rich history between each other. But it's a very difficult game to predict, man. England haven't been so spectacular at the tournament so far, even though they got through their groups without losing a game. But they haven't scored enough goals, in my opinion. And I don't really think they've been tested against a more formidable opponent. So coming up against Germany could be their first big test at this tournament, and they would need Harry Kane to come good. He has not come good so far at the tournament. I don't even think Harry Kane has got 5 shots off at goal. He doesn't even have a goal, and they have depended on Raheem Sterling for their goals in the games that they have scored, and only 2 goals have been scored. As for Germany, coming through the group of death could prove to be beneficial, having been tested against France, Portugal, and Hungary of all teams. So Joachim Löw, currently in his last international tournament, after a 15-year stint with the national team, would want to walk into the sunset with his head held high. So I think England has their work cut out for them here. Germany, a bit mercurial, to be honest. And look, it's very difficult to predict this one. But Southgate has to get his selection right here if he ought to topple the Germans. But look, oh boy, I did predict England to get knocked out in the round of 16. So I think I'm going to stick with that prediction. I know the English fans won't be happy with what I'm predicting right now, but I could see Germany moving on to meet Sweden in the last 8. And that game will be played in Rome, Italy. So let us move on to the next one. These ones are a little easier. Maybe they appear to be easier, but might not be easier. But let's start with the Netherlands versus the Czech Republic. That game will be played in Budapest, Hungary, and the Netherlands are one of the teams that came through their group unscathed, while the Czech Republic, they came through as one of the best third-place teams from England's group. So they're not looking too bad, but still, they're coming up against a very well-oiled Dutch team here under Frank de Boer. And Jaroslav Silhavy and his boys would have to bring their A-game. You're talking about Šusek, Kufal, Král, Patrick Schick. All of these guys have to come good on the day if they are to topple this very good Dutch team here. With Memphis, with Dumfries, Frankie de Jong. All these guys playing some really good football, man. You see Daniel Malen getting introduced as well. It's going to be very tough to beat this Dutch team who looks good all over the field. And the captain, Gini Wijnaldum, you know, is getting in the act in terms of goal scoring and all. So it's going to be tough for the Czech Republic to beat the Netherlands. So I'm a fancy the Dutch to move on to the next round. Sorry, Czechs, but better luck next time. And the last one for the round of 16 matchups, Wales versus Denmark. This game will be played in Amsterdam, and it's one of the more low-key round of 16 games. I'm happy to see Wales come through the group stages, but I didn't predict them to do so. And if they can follow up on what they did at Euro 16, that'll be great for the Welsh fans. As for Denmark, oh man, they have written the most spectacular, the most inspirational story at the Euro so far. In match day 1, we remember Christian Eriksen collapsing on the field, and thank God he is alive and well today. And the Danes lost their first 2 games of the group stage and needed a big win in the final match to come through, and they did so. That was a huge victory versus Russia, and they came through the group stages like I did predict them to do, and they will play Wales. I think they locked out in terms of the draw, or maybe that's how it appears on paper, but this is a good one. As I said, one of the more low-key matchups in the round of 16. Look, Robert Page and Wales have done a great job. Gareth Bale did a great job as well in the group stages. Aaron Ramsey looked good, and their supporting cast came to the party. But this Denmark team, man, they're fired up. They're inspired right now by the whole Christian Eriksen situation. Their fans are behind them, even though the game will not be played on home soil. But they have a lot to play for. And I think we were actually saying the lack of Christian Eriksen could affect this team adversely, or it could just propel this team to get far in this tournament. And if they go on to beat Wales, they would meet the Netherlands in Baku. It would be a long trip, but still, I think they would look forward to this trip because they were on the brink of going out of the tournament. And we know Denmark are a quality team. Euro 1992 champions, and they would look to repeat that feat this time around. They want to do it for Christian. They want to do it for Eriksen. So look, I'm going to go for the inspired Danes, the miraculous Danes, to move on from this tie and beat Wales to meet the Netherlands in the last 8. So my quarterfinal matchups are the Netherlands versus Denmark, Sweden versus Germany, France versus Croatia, Belgium versus Italy. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Make sure you head on over to the site and play the game. It's fun, but I won't predict from the quarterfinal onwards. I'm not going to do it. You have to wait until the quarterfinals come around and we will talk then. But I just wanted to keep it a little bit more simple than I did in the group stages, where I went into detail about all the teams. So if you want more info on all the teams, watch about my group stage predictions. So guys, I'm your boy Dominic Rich. I've been doing live streams for every single match day of Euro 2020. So I've been following the tournament very closely, and I've been grinding, I've been putting in the work. So I figured I'll do something a little bit more relaxed for the round of 16 predictions. So guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thank you very much for helping me reach 44,000 subscribers. Like the video if you like it. And until next time, may the best teams win. Peace out. Rich Squad. Or I should say, ho, 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 ho. Because it feels like Christmas all over again.